Welcome to Out of the Box from Hudson County Community College. I'm Chris Reber, president of Hudson County Community College and your host for these videocasts. Joining me today to discuss the college's Hudson Helps program are Vice President for Student Affairs and Enrollment, Lisa Dougherty.
Hi, Dr. Reber. Thanks for having me.
And Associate Dean of Student Affairs, Dr. David Clark.
Hi, Dr. Reber. Nice to be here.
David and Lisa, thanks so much for being here today.
Our pleasure.
So tell us about Hudson Helps. What is it?
So it all started probably about a year ago. You remember we saw the article, the research done by the governor's, the Government Accountability Office that showed that almost 50% of college students tend to be food insecure and as many as 15% are homeless. So that's when we started with our food pantries on both campuses. And Dr. Clark assembled a really wonderful cross-functional team of the college community to get those off the ground. Do you want to talk about how that happened?
Sure.
And then
Sure. We started with that cross-sectional team, and basically we surveyed faculty, staff, and students about food insecurity here at the college, and overwhelmingly the community came back with results of they know of either themselves or others who had food insecurity. So as a result of those, we shared those results, and the first food pantry opened in March of 2018, and the second one opened in April.
So in fact, the GAO submitted this report estimating that half of all community college students in the country are food insecure, 15% are homeless. We know that the characteristics of our diverse urban student body likely make our students even more at risk. So the college community has been talking a lot about student success and how we can help more students finish their programs. But if you don't know where your next meal is coming from, or you don't have a place to sleep, those things sort of are not going to make a difference. So what was the response when you opened these food pantries?
Well, we have seen just an outpouring of support, not only from the internal Hudson community, but also the external Hudson community, and just the testimonials of students who are able to now go to class and not have to worry about where their next meal is coming from has just been really inspiring.
And so, David, how many, there's a food pantry at the North Hudson campus in Union City.
Correct.
And one here at Journal Square.
Yes, we're located in 2 Enos Place in J008, I believe, which is on the lower level across from the Educational Opportunity Fund office. And then we also have a location in North Hudson on N503A, which is on the 5th floor.
And do you have a sense of how many students have visited those pantries?
Oh, wow. Since we've opened, we've had over 1,000 students visit, and we've gotten in over 10,000 food items, non-perishable food items and personal care items.
I've heard it said that it's a labor of love.
Yes.
It sure is.
Absolutely.
What kinds of testimonials have you heard, if you can share
Well, just
this?
in terms of students feeling a sense of connectedness to the college now. There's not a need for them to go out to an outside agency to seek food items. They now know that when they come to Hudson, they have designated places that they'll be able to go and seek out food items when they need them.
And David, can you share with us maybe plans for growing the food pantries or for partnering with others?
Absolutely. The governor signed into law the Hunger-Free Campus Act, and as a result of that, we are able to apply for grant funding that will help us expand the services of the food pantries. We would like to go from 3 days to 6 days a week. We would like to offer fresh vegetables, fruit, dairy items, meats, and frozen meals as well. So it would give us an opportunity to really educate and just serve our population on a continuous basis.
And Lisa, as we were starting to see the outcome and the response of students, faculty, and staff, we started to realize there were other needs as well. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. So I think what we found is our students are often discontinuing their enrollment, not so much for academic reasons, but these personal life happens reasons. So we are now in the first phases of opening our Hudson Helps Resource Center, which will be a physical location on the 3rd floor of the A building, where students can come for anything they need help with. And in that space, we will have our food pantry. We will have a career closet for students who need professional dress for interviews or other needs. We also are partnering with agencies to have them on site to provide students with childcare resources, immigration assistance, SNAP benefits. And we are also having on staff 2 social work interns from NYU who will act as case managers, so they'll be able to connect students with different resources in the community or here at the college, including mental health counseling or accessibility services or career guidance. So it's really going to be a one-stop shop if a student needs help with anything, whether it's academic, non-academic, and we really feel it's going to help the persistence of our students. One thing that we've seen immediate response from and great success is our emergency funding.
Yeah.
So we established a process by which students can request funding if they run into some sort of life emergency, whether it's a disaster or a car repair, or one student unfortunately had a fire in her home. So they fill out a very simple form just stating what the emergency is and how a grant will help them and what the amount is they're requesting. A committee reviews it quickly and we make a decision very quickly. Thus far, we've had 16 students apply. We have approved 9 of them, and I'm happy to report that it's doing exactly what it's intended to do. All 9 are still enrolled in the fall term, and 7 of the 9 are registered for the spring term.
Which is phenomenal. So if you think about it, you know, when students are really having to work very hard to find the resources to go to school, and they might be also taking care of kids, working part-time or full-time, one unexpected expense, like a flat tire, like not being able to pay a utility bill, can cause a student to drop out.
Absolutely.
But in this case, you're providing funding to help them continue. And can you share any feedback or comments that you've received from students who've been helped with this emergency fund?
Sure. Students are pleasantly surprised because they're just so grateful that the college will help them in this way. One student who lost virtually everything to a fire was just happy to be able to get a laptop to continue her studies and school uniforms for her children to continue with their schooling. 2 students were in danger of having their power shut off, which means they can't study, they'll have to move. They were extremely grateful. And even the simplest thing like a monthly bus pass. One student was going to have to leave her internship because she couldn't afford bus fare downtown. So we got her a monthly bus pass and it changed everything for her and she'll be able to finish it. So they're very grateful and like all of our students, just appreciative and really they're so persistent and determined that, like you said, $200, $500 can completely derail them, but this helps to keep them on their path. So it's gratifying.
And Lisa, how is that funded and how do we expect to fund it as it grows?
So right now it's in its pilot stages. So we are piloting it with operating budget. We are hopeful that our fundraising efforts for the external community, internal community can help to fund it in the future because it's money that has a direct impact on students. As the Community College Opportunity Grant expands, our students need less in tuition and fees assistance, but more in these non-academic.
That aren't covered by this grant program.
Exactly.
And David, you're now looking at partnering with other parts of the college, right? Our Culinary Conference Center?
Absolutely.
Our catering services?
Correct. Yes, we have been in conversations to utilize the food, and we have a lot of events on campus, and sometimes there's a lot of food left over. So we are working with our dean in the culinary department, as well as the caterers to package that food, date it, and freeze it so that it could be used in other ways, and they would donate that to the pantry. So that we have that internal partnership. We're also going to be partnering with the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, which will be able to bring in bulk food items, food orders that will serve us long-term sustaining.
And it's interesting how a project like this continues to grow and unfold, and it's inspirational in and of itself, and that inspires others. And I'm thinking right now about our Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society chapter and some of the students in our STEM program who are actually working on a project. Can either of you discuss it to to grow sustainable gardening and food items?
Sure. So they're working together with STEM faculty. They constructed a greenhouse, and they are growing right now mushrooms in this greenhouse in the lobby of the STEM building, which is really wonderful that we can walk through there and actually see it happening. And their goal is to utilize the mushrooms either to help our culinary students with ingredients, and also in the future to help the food pantry. So
it's phenomenal. So there's a fish tank and a goldfish. And one of the byproducts of this process, I did not do well in STEM, is helps to grow onions on the top, and on the bottom, mushrooms. And so these mushrooms and onions are going to actually be donated to the food bank. And we had an opening ceremony, and they made this delicious pasta dish with the mushrooms. And so that's become a project that's involved lots of students and faculty. It has contributed to their research.
And it's just giving back. I think it's important that we come to work every day and hope that we're making a difference in the lives of our students, but this is just wholeheartedly organic, that this has really been making a difference, and you can see it, it's palpable.
And as it grows, it then puts pressure on us to rise to the occasion, right? So now we need refrigeration equipment.
We do.
And we just expect this to continue to grow. The one-stop shop seems like a great idea. Is there any concern about individuals being hesitant to come forward, maybe not wanting to be visible about their needs?
Yeah, I think we're trying to respect students' privacy, but also eliminate some of the stigma, because students can get all kinds of assistance there. So we're assuming that many of them will be referred from our advisors on the second floor, where they can just go right up to the third floor. It's pretty secluded up there. There's the HR office, the career services. So we really want to make it so that it is a welcoming place for students who want to volunteer there to help. So students could be going in there for assistance themselves or to volunteer to assist other students. And I also should mention our Student Government Association and our Student Life and Leadership team have made a lot of their events the admission. Instead of charging an admissions fee, they're charging non-perishable food items. So it's a great way for everyone to get involved, and it's easy for a student to stop by a grocery store and pick up a can of something to donate to the food pantry.
And as I already mentioned, it's impacting our educational mission. David, can you speak about, there was recently a hunger banquet?
Yes,
that was
the
held?
Oxfam hunger banquet happened. The food pantry, which have done several different events, they did some back to school events. They're doing a holiday drive, toy drive tomorrow. But one that really stuck out for me was the Oxfam hunger banquet in November. It literally, there was not a dry eye in the room. Our current students who were previously displaced, homeless, gave their testimonials, and it really just made the whole event seem we are here for a reason. We're doing this out of our heart and not just for a handout. So it just really solidified the mission that the college is and student success, and it's all about student success.
And so when the participants entered the room, they were assigned essentially one of three groups to be in.
Yes, they were very shocked they would enter the room and they were given a card, and that card would put them in a different socioeconomic status. So you had the well-to-do who had linen and china, and they ate from a plate, and it also went all the way down to poverty, below the poverty line, and those students sat on the floor, ate out of paper plates and paper cups. And so it just really brought home the need for us to really take a strong stance against hunger and food insecurity.
So what we see here is a project, the outcome of which is greater than the sum of the parts. More and more people getting involved around a shared value. Our college community has been really focused on student success, how together we can help more students succeed, complete their degree programs, transfer to other institutions, or have gainful employment. And this is a huge piece of it.
Yep.
So I should add that the food pantry could not have gotten off the ground without the help from the Hudson County Community College Foundation. They started us off with a very generous gift of $5,000 to get that off the ground. So we're very grateful for that. And Hudson Helps falls under the foundation's 501c3.
Absolutely so. Anyone can contribute through the 501c3, and meanwhile, the foundation continues to raise money.
Yes.
Just held their annual gala and raised over $200,000 for scholarships.
Wow, yeah.
So all a labor of love. Before we conclude, I can imagine there are folks that would like to support the effort. If someone wants to make a contribution of any kind, what should they do?
Absolutely. No donation is too small or too large. We ask, there is a donate button on the Hudson Helps website. So we have the external site. If you go to www.hccc.edu, you'll see the Hudson Help banner at the top. Click on there, and it'll give you more information on how you can donate. We also will accept non-perishable food items, personal care items at the moment. And again, moving forward, once we get refrigeration and freezers, we'll be having more offerings. Clothing as well.
So any contribution would be welcome.
Absolutely.
How does this make you feel as a member of our community? How has it impacted each of you?
Great question.
I think it is, I love what we do for our students. I've always loved what we do for our students, but it really makes you feel like you're truly making a difference, because these are needs that would go unmet if we didn't have these services, or students would have to do without or find alternatives or leave college. So each of the students that we help, whether it's with a granola bar in between classes or the Hudson Helps grant or a suit for a job interview, you just know that you're making a difference, and it's really quite gratifying.
And I'm a proud community college first-generation student, so I can remember my community college days where there were services there for students that really helped alleviate you having to go outside of the college for resources. So this has been a labor of love for me.
And you now have a doctoral degree, and you're accomplished.
Absolutely.
And yet students can really identify with your life experience. We've grown fond of a way of concluding this podcast, and that is, I'd like to ask each of you, if you could describe Hudson County Community College in one word, what word would you choose? David?
Aspirational.
Lisa?
I would say transformational.
Aspirational and transformational. My word is always inspirational. They really, I think, do go together. Thanks so much.
Thanks
not only
for
for
having
being here, but for the life-changing work that both of you do. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Chris.
And thank you for joining us for this session of Out of the Box. If you enjoyed this videocast, please share it with your friends and family and visit our website at hccc.edu.